Hey guys, welcome back into Breaking Boards. And in today's episode, we're going to break down Monday Night Football. We have the Minnesota Vikings traveling to take on the Chicago Bears. This game currently has a 43.5 total, with the Minnesota Vikings implied team total being 22.5 and the implied team total for Chicago being 20.5. Vikings are favored currently at about 1.5 points, depending on the book that you're looking at. So we have the Vikings as favorites here for Monday Night Football, and let's jump right into the player-by-player breakdown. Looking at the Minnesota side, we have QB JJ McCarthy. We don't know much about McCarthy to this point in his career in that he got injured so early in camp last season. But what we do know from college is that I think he was a national champion at Michigan. Pretty decent player here. And we know that Sam Darnold, they pretty much picked him up off the trash pile last year in Minnesota, and they were perfectly fine. Even though the season that he had, they were perfectly fine letting him walk out the door for the larger contract in Seattle. And that kind of tells me that if Minnesota believes in uh, JJ McCarthy, I'm going to believe in JJ McCarthy. So I'll be about the field tonight on JJ, just depending on where he's at. He is a captain consideration for me for this afternoon's matchup. And taking a look at my first run, he was my third highest owned captain at around 15%, and he was my highest owned guy in the flex at around 40%. So don't mind getting him in the captain spot for tonight's matchup. If you do, you're going to want to pair him with one of his pass catchers. You have Justin Jefferson, Aaron Jones. Don't mind Mason, but he's not really a pass catcher. You have Hawkinson. You have the kicker. Don't mind getting him in there. You have Thielen. You have Naylor. You have Josh Oliver. That's probably where I would stop. If you're in large field contests, you can get these $200 guys. If you're in smaller field, you're going to want to stick around Jefferson, Jones, Mason, Hawkinson, either the defense or the kicker. Thielen and Naylor would be about where I would stop. I would consider Josh Oliver as a salary saver in the flex in lineups where I have JJ McCarthy in the captain. Taking a look at the running back position for Minnesota, we have Aaron Jones, we have Jordan Mason, and to a lesser extent, Ty Chandler. I'll go ahead and let you know that Ty Chandler is just a kind of a dart throw for me in larger field. GPP is not going to consider him in small field, even in the flex, and we'll have 0 in the captain position. We'll look to get both of these guys in the captain position for tonight's game, as I think the captain ownership is going to consolidate. Looking over at my first run on these guys in the captain spot, I have, let's see here, I have Jordan Mason at 5%, and I have Aaron Jones at 10%. And that's where I want to be later on tonight as lineups lock in unless something gets crazy or someone gets ruled out. That's where I want to be on those two guys. So don't mind mixing them in the captain spot as we just talked about. If you do have Aaron Jones up top, you can work JJ McCarthy in the flex. If you have Mason up top, I'm not going to force McCarthy in the lineup at all. Would like a Mason captain with the Vikings defense, as I think both those current players could have a great game tonight against Chicago. This Minnesota defense is nothing to joke about. Looking at the wide receiver position, we have Justin Jefferson, we have Adam Thielen, we have Jalen Naylor. As we scroll down a bit here, we have rookie Ty Felton. And then again, you have your $200 guys. If you want to mix those guys in large field tournaments, don't mind that at all. Ty Felton, pretty much a large field flex play for me. If I had $800, exactly $800, and I feel great about a smaller field tournament, I wouldn't mind it because he does have some speed and can catch a bomb. But I don't want to put that as something I need in smaller field tournaments. So I don't mind using him in large field. No captain ownership for Ty Felton for me. Jay Naylor and Adam Thielen would be they'd be in the consideration for smaller field flex options for me. Not something I'm gonna be way over the field on. Thielen is a volume guy and he absolutely needs volume, but with Addison out, he is opened up a little bit more opportunity there. And then Jalen Naylor, don't mind him as well as we saw last year. He put up some decent games. I mean, he had a 19 here, 11, a 12, a 14, so not terrible. And if we look at his games against Chicago, he had 7.5 here in week number 12. And then he had 1.5 in week 15. If you get the 7.5, you're not, too far behind the field and smaller field. But if you get that 1 point game, that's pretty much going to sink your lineup. So again, 5,000 field style of range is about where I'd be looking at for Jalen Naylor. These two guys I don't mind mixing in the flex, obviously with JJ and then with Thielen. I would not have any Thielen captain. And then Justin Jefferson, I would have him quite a bit in the captain spot. I believe he is my highest owned or tied for highest owned captain tonight, which will probably be about the same for everyone else. I have him at 18%, so I will look to be about the field or under the field on Jefferson. In that, I do think ownership is going to flock to Jefferson the closer we get to lock. If you have Justin Jefferson up top, you can put McCarthy in the flex. It's not something you have to do, but it's going to be something I'm going to look to do more times than not. Looking at the tight end position, you have TJ Hawkinson and you have Josh Oliver. And then most of these guys, you have this $1,200 guy, but again, large field, mix the guy in if you want to. I will be over the field on Josh Oliver. Again, if I need salary savings in smaller field, I don't mind getting him in there, but not something I'm going to be forcing in. TJ Hawkinson, I will have him in smaller field in the captain spot just to get different. And he is in a spot where I think he's going to play very well tonight and get targeted quite a bit with Jordan Addison suspended for the first couple of games. So smaller field tournament option in the captain spot for me will look to be over the field overall. And then he will be in the flex for me quite a bit as well. And I will pair JJ McCarthy in the flex in the lineups that I have Hawkinson in the captain position, in that you're already going to be different. If we look at the kicker spot, Will Reichert is another guy I'm going to look to mix and match quite a bit. Played pretty well against Chicago last season and put up a 15 spot here in week 15. So we'll be over the field on Will Reichert, especially given his reduced salary. And we'll consider him in the captain position some in my 150 sets, but not something I'm going to be forcing in small field contest. Same thing with the Vikings defense. I'll have a couple of captains in my 150s, but not something I'm going to be looking to be way over the field on. Predominantly, we'll be over the field on them in the flex position. As we take a look over at Chicago, we have Caleb Williams up top at the QB position. Don't mind mixing him in the captain spot. I think he is tied for my highest owned captain at 18%. Don't absolutely love it, but there are quite a few captains tonight that we have consideration on. I think I counted earlier about 10 to 12 guys that we can get into the captain spot. I'm pretty much going to be flat across the board on my captain ownership for tonight's game. If you have Williams in the captain spot, you can get more Swift, Odunze, Loveland, Burden, Santos, Komet, Zacchaeus. I mean, there's so many guys that you can mix and match here with Caleb Williams in the captain spot for tonight. So don't mind getting Caleb up top. If we look at the running back position, you have DeAndre Swift, and then you have Kyle Monangai, and then to a lesser extent, you have Brown down here. Again, if you need a $200 guy, you guys know what to do with that with large field. In smaller field, a lot of people are going to be mixing in salary savings on Monangai. Don't mind it, in that he could be the goal line back here tonight against Minnesota, but Minnesota's defense is pretty stout. So not going to be something I'm going to be forcing in. I will have DeAndre Swift in the captain position quite a bit in tonight's contest. I like him a decent amount, and I would consider him as a small field captain play as well. As we look at the wide receiver position for Chicago, we have DJ Moore, we have Rome Odunze, we have Luther Burden, and we have Olamide Zacchaeus, and then you have your cheaper guys. Again, all these cheaper guys are just going to be guys that you're going to need in larger field tournaments. Smaller field considerations on Luther Burden and Zacchaeus. Would not really consider either one of those guys in the captain spot, but like them a pretty good bit in the flex. We'll be trying to pair them predominantly with my Caleb captain lineups. So don't mind getting above the field on both those guys, Burden and Zacchaeus. Odunze and DJ Moore will be captain viable for me, even in smaller field tournaments, as I will look to be different in the captain spot tonight. Don't mind pairing Caleb Williams in the flex spot if you have a Moore or Odunze captain, in that you're going to already be different. So again, don't mind either one of those guys in any type of field in the captain spot. Looking at the tight end position, we have Colston Loveland and we have Cole Kmet. And then down below, we have Smythe here, and you can put him in that, if you need $600, have a lineup you like, has $600 remaining, you can throw him in there in large fields. Cole Kmet would be around a 5,000 field play for me, even in the flex, and I will have 0 in the captain spot, so not really in consideration for me in smaller field. Colston Loveland is one of my favorite flex options at 5,800. I will have a couple of captain of him in my 150 builds, but predominantly he's going to be flex option for me in those Caleb Williams lineups that we talked about up top. And then we have Cairo Santos at the kicker position. No captain ownership for me, and I will look to be about the field in the flex on Cairo Santos. Not a huge upside there. And then the Bears defense, again, one of those that I will have them mixed in quite a bit in the flex spot. No captain ownership, in that we don't know what we're going to get out of JJ McCarthy. So looking back over the entire field here and kind of considering what we have going on, Jefferson, like I said, Jefferson, Moore, Williams, McCarthy, Swift, Odunze, Jones, Mason, Hawkinson, Riker, Vikings defense. That's about where the captain ownership is going to end for me. So don't mind any of those guys in the captain and 150 builds. If we're talking about smaller field builds, I would keep it to Jefferson, Moore, Caleb, JJ, Swift, Odunze, Aaron Jones, Jordan Mason, Hawkinson. If we're talking about my favorite captain spot, I would go probably Hawkinson, Jones, and Swift in my small field stuff. Maybe Jordan Mason, but prefer Mason over on FanDuel. We'll be playing some FanDuel tonight in that I got my bonus back today, like most of us who played the Millionaire Maker yesterday. We'll say there is an expiration on that, so make sure you're staying on top of that and don't let your bonus funds evaporate for nothing over on FanDuel. I appreciate you guys being here. That's going to do it for today's video, breaking down the Minnesota Vikings traveling to take on the Chicago Bears. Sorry, this one's a bit of a condensed one. It's been a crazy day at work. I do work a full-time job and have a family as well, so try to do this on the side. I appreciate you guys letting me know the good job I'm doing so far with your likes, your comments, the subscriptions, everything else, man. I appreciate you guys so much. Thanks for being here, and I hope you guys take down the Millionaire Maker over on DraftKings tonight for the Vikings traveling to take on the Bears.